Hello dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video we are going to have a look at all you need to know about your car radiator. Think of your car engine as a powerful furnace. It creates immense heat through thousands of tiny explosions every minute. Air fuel mixture gets admitted into the cylinder and it gets combusted. There are thousands of tiny explosions going on inside your engine. The radiator is the heart of the cooling system, and its sole job is to prevent the engine from destroying itself from excessive heat. It does this by transferring heat from the hot coolant flowing inside it to the outside air blown through its fin. As you can see, there is a radiator fan that will blow air onto the fins of this radiator. These are the fins. There we have the fan. Now coolant will be directed to the radiator through the hose. There is hot coolant which is coming from the engine passing through the radiator. As the coolant flows through the radiator, wind will be blown over these fins, allowing heat to be dissipated. Now the process is a very simple, continuous process. It begins by heat absorption. Now the coolant that is flowing inside this engine will absorb heat. Coolant circulates through the passage inside the engine, inside the cylinder block and engine block, and absorb heat from the engine. That combustion heat will be carried by the coolant. And then, right there is a water pump. Right there, we have a water pump. It is driven by a belt from the crankshaft. The water pump will send this scaling hot coolant to the radiator via the upper hose. Right here, you see the upper hose. The upper hose will carry that hot water into the radiator. Now, the hot coolant flows through the radiator many tiny tubes. There are tubes called water passage. These are vertical tubes, for example. These vertical tubes, those vertical tubes, they allow coolant to flow through. So, when coolant flows through the radiator many tiny tubes, then because of an excellent heat conduction behavior of this tiny passage, heat will be dissipated from the radiator. As coolant is flowing from the upper tank of the radiator, there is right here, there is an upper tank. We hold it the header tank. The upper tank is connected to the upper hose, and coolant will come through entire length of the radiator up to this point. It will be filled by coolant, and then it will flow down. This right here is a shroud that is there to direct wind from the fan. It will help direct anything that is blown by the fan to pass through the radiator fin. So this is how the heat is transferred. Now as you drive, air is forced. When vehicle is moving forward, air is forced. A fan also pulls air through the radiator, and this air cools the tubes and coolant inside the radiator tube. Now the now cooled coolant is then pumped back into the engine from the lower hose. If you follow down at the lower end of the radiator, you see there is a lower hose. This lower hose will bring the already cooled engine coolant into the engine. This is the return journey. So it's a very simple but very brilliant heat exchange. Coolant will absorb heat from the engine. That will be directed to the radiator. It will come to the radiator, and hot coolant will flow through the radiator. It will pass through these tubes. As it passes through these tubes, wind will be blown over by the cooling fan and by the vehicle being moving forward, and then that will dissipate heat from these tubes. The already cooled coolant will be collected to the lower hose, and the lower hose will redirect that coolant back to the engine, allowing complete loop of the circulation. Now when we come to the key components of the radiator, as we have said, the radiator has to maintain coolant flow and heat dissipation. In order to facilitate this, there are some components. For example, right here we have the radiator cap. The radiator cap is a very crucial component. It is not just a lid, it is a pressure valve. By raising the pressure inside the system, it raises the boiling point of the coolant just like a pressure cooker, making it much more efficient. It also allows excess coolant to flow into the overflow tank when hot, and it will allow return of coolant. This is the overflow pipe When there is excess pressure built inside the cooling system, it will allow some discharge. And when vacuum is created, however, when the cooling system starts cooling back, it will allow coolant to return or vented air to return back to the cooling system. Now, this coolant, which is coming to the radiator, it has to pass through a thermostat. Right here we have a thermostat housing. This is the thermostat housing. The thermostat is there. It is a temperature controlled valve between the engine and the radiator. It stays closed when the engine is cold, and it will allow passage only once the engine is warmed up. This will allow the engine to warm up quickly. So as soon as the engine is started, there is no coolant coming to the upper hose. No coolant is allowed to pass to the upper hose until the engine has nearly reached its operating temperature. Once operating temperature is reached, this valve, the thermostat valve, will allow passage of the coolant, and that will allow it to circulate to the radiator. Then we have a water pump that is going to facilitate all this. The water pump is there to allow circulation of coolant. Coolant will be circulated by a water pump. The water pump is a belt driven. It's right in here housing, in this housing. It is mechanically driven by the belt, and it will allow coolant circulation. Now, in order to allow much more heat exchange, we have a coolant fan. Right here, this is a mechanically driven fan. Some cooling systems have an electrically driven fan. Fan is there to ensure airflow when the car is not moving fast enough. So it will suck air into the fins of the radiator, allowing heat exchange. And in order to connect the radiator to the remaining parts of the system, we have hoses. This right here is the upper hose, and there is also the lower hose. These are highways for coolant to travel between the engine and the radiator. The upper hose will bring coolant to the radiator, and the lower hose will take coolant away from the radiator into the engine. Now, in order to facilitate all this heat exchange process, there has to be a medium for carrying heat from the engine, and that is called the coolant. Coolant is basically a mixture of antifreeze, special fluid. It doesn't just prevent freezing in winter, it also raises the boiling point. It prevents corrosion inside the system and lubricates the system components like the water pump, for example. Now, there are some common radiator and cooling system problems. For example, leakage. Leakage is when you see a puddle of green, orange, or red fluid under the car. If you frequently notice there is low coolant level in your engine, that indicates there is a leakage. So leakage is one common problem. This is usually caused by corrosion and cracked plastic tank or damaged core from the road debris or worn out hoses. If there are any cracks, if there are anything that is cracked in here, if there is corrosion in the radiator, all this can lead to leakage. So leak is number one problem. And the other problem that can face cooling system is clogging. Coolant breaks down over time, forming a sludge or scale that blocks tiny tubes inside the radiator. So sometimes these radiator tubes, they get clogged. This is basically as a result of rust and scale that is developing inside the cooling system. This will prevent proper coolant flow. The other problem is if there is a defective fan. Well, for this mechanical, the only problem we have is if there is some blades broken. But on the electrical part, the electrical fan might fail altogether. So engine overheats quickly when idling or in slow traffic. If there is a broken fan or if the fan is not turned on, and the electric fan motor, if there is a problem with the motor, if there is a problem with the relay or the temperature sensor has failed, so that will prevent airflow over the radiator. So this is a very common issue on electric fan type engines. Other problem is when there is a problem with the thermostat. We have said the thermostat is there to open and close the passage between the engine and the radiator, usually connected beneath the starting point of the upper hose. Now, if engine takes very long time to warm up, it means the thermostat is stuck open, or if the engine overheats rapidly, that means the thermostat is stuck closed. So the thermostat, if it is stuck open, it will cause constant flow of coolant to the radiator. This will prevent the engine from reaching operating temperature fast enough. If it is stuck closed, preventing any type of coolant circulation to the radiator, then that will lead to extremely hot temperature inside the engine, as cooling is not effectively done, as there is no passage to the radiator. That can cause engine overheating as well. And finally, the other problem associated with the radiator is when there is a block or damage to the fins. Right here there are fins between the tubes. There are fins. Fins are there to increase surface area so that heat can be readily dissipated from the engine. So potential overheating can result if these fins are blocked. If air is not allowed to pass through this, that can cause engine overheating problem. It could be caused by bent or crushed fins from rocks, bug, or reducing the radiator surface area and reducing heat dissipation as well. For example, right here you see some of them are damaged like so. If it is damaged like this, that can prevent proper venting, proper ventilation is prevented. That can cause damage to the heat dissipation as well. Now, what are some of the maintenance procedures to be followed in order to take care of the radiator and the cooling system in general? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to do regular coolant flush. Coolant flush is when you replace the coolant that is flowing through your engine. That is a very critical procedure. This is the most important thing. Over time, coolant loses its protective ability, its protective additives, and become acidic, leading to corrosion and clogging. So you have to follow your car manufacturer's recommended schedule for coolant flush. Usually it is around 30,000 miles or 5 years. You have to check your manual for that, and this is a very cheap insurance against ensuring a properly functioning cooling system. So regular coolant flush and coolant change is the number one thing you have to do for your cooling system. The other is to do visual inspection. Check for any potential causes of leakage. For example, look at right here. This is the lower hose. The lower hose is getting cracked. It means the rubber is now degrading and it is going to leak in a short time. So check for coolant level as well. Regularly check, especially when the engine is cold. Regularly check the coolant level inside the radiator and expansion tank. If you have a header, if you have an expansion tank, it should be between the minimum and the maximum value, and look for any sign of leakage, anything that can cause leakage in the future. Inspect the radiator fins for excessive debris, for any kind of deformation of damage. You have to make sure that sufficient wind passage has to be there. Make sure that these are not blocked. Make sure that these are not damaged. If these are blocked or if these are damaged, that will prevent circulation of air through the radiator. And also don't forget the hoses. Inspect the hoses and anything that can cause crack, anything that can cause leakage, or anything that is not properly secure, it has to be replaced and addressed as soon as possible. When your car is serviced, have them checked, have them look at the hose for any crack, for any bulge or any softness. And also make sure that you are checking the condition of the belt that drives the water pump. This belt, they have to be in a very nice shape. It has to be checked as well. And some of the critical warning signs that indicate you have a problem with your radiator or a cooling system indicates, for example, if the temperature gauge is in the red zone. If the temperature gauge reaches the red zone, it means cooling system is not efficiently cooling your engine. So pull over safely and shut off the engine immediately to prevent catastrophic engine failure if it is overheating. And if you see any type of steam or smoke coming from your hood, coming from under the hood, that is a sure sign of engine overheating. And if you notice there is a low coolant warning light, then don't ignore it. Check the level as soon as possible when it is safe. Don't operate a hot radiator cap. If the radiator cap is extremely hot, you should not be opening radiator caps. Otherwise, that can cause a massive surge of hot coolant and that can cause burning. And if there is a sweet smell coming from your engine bay, antifreeze has a very distinct sweet syrup-like smell. If you smell it inside or outside the car, you more probably have a leakage. so make sure that you address the leakage as well. If you have any discolored or dirty coolant, that is also an indication of trouble. Healthy coolant is bright green, or it is orange, pink, or blue. If it looks rusty, if it is brown, or if it has particles in it, then it means the system is dirty and it needs to be flushed. So what can you do if your car frequently overheats? There are some procedures that you need to do. If you're driving, pull over and shut off the engine. Don't open the radiator cap while the engine is still hot. Opening this radiator cap will cause massive burn from the hot liquid. So the system is under extreme pressure and can release scalding steam and coolant, causing severe burn. If you are not sure what to do, then you should call for help. Let the car cool down completely. At least this requires about 1 hour of waiting time. And before even attempting to check the coolant system or coolant level, you have to let the engine cool down. So your radiator is therefore a very vital and crucial component of your engine. Don't underestimate. Treat it well with regular coolant change, and it will reliably protect your engine. If you take care of your radiator, it will take care of your engine. So neglecting it, you can risk breakdown and repair bills that can run into thousands of dollars, or that can even require you to replace the entire engine. So radiator issues should not be taken lightly. These are some of the things that you need to consider when thinking about your radiator. Well, dear viewers, that is all we have for you regarding what a radiator does, all you need to know about the radiator, and some of the things that you need to know about the radiator. If you find this video helpful and if you like what has been presented, please smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing. Turn on notifications so that you will be the first to get notified whenever we come up with another video. Until then, stay safe.